Hello everyone. Today in this video we will go through some of the sample Python MCQs for InfyTQ exam, and I will explain how to solve such questions which are based out of programming. Let's get started. Have a look at the first question. Evaluate the expression given below if A is 20 and B is 12, and the expression is A modulus B and then floor division A. So here where students stuck is to see whether to solve it from left to right or from right to left. So the thumb rule is it is similar to how do you solve BODMAS in math. You have to go from left to right. So left to right, first thing is A modulus B. This means I'll have to do 20 modulus 12. And what will be the output? Then I have to do the floor division with 20. Let's first solve this part. Modulus, as we all know, gives us the remainder. Remainder of this expression would be 8. Then we have this floor division. And floor division gives you the nearest whole number when you perform this division. If we do 8 divided by 20, nearest whole number is 0. And hence our answer will be 0 in this case. Alright, let's move on to the next question. So this question is based out of list comprehension. What is list comprehension? It is just a simple way of creating a list using a for loop. Let's have a look. Suppose list 1 is equals to 1.0 multiplied by y for y in range 0 to 4. And we have to find what this list will be. Let's first look at the range. Range is 0 to 4. This means we will have to see that y could be in the range that is 0, 1, 2 and 3. As we know that range never includes the rightmost limit, the maximum range. So next thing is that 1.0 multiplied with y, and hence list 1 will have 1 point times multiplied by 0 will give you 0, 1.1 then multiplied with 1 will give you 1.1, and then it will be multiplied with 2 which will give you 2.0, 3.0, right? So C is the right answer here. What is the difference between C and D? D is including the maximum range, which is 4, and that is not the right way of doing it. We never include the maximum range. Let's move on to the next question. What will be the output of the following Python code? Here we are given a set of few numbers 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, and then 4 and 4. It is asking you for the length of the set. Since this is a set, we have to remember that set cannot have the duplicate entries. So if we have 2 times 1, it will consider it only once. So nums will become, when we will have a set, this will have 1, 2, 3 and 4. No duplicate entries here, and hence the length becomes 4. Alright, let's move on. What will be the output of the following Python code? Again, we have a set here, number games. Now you can see that here a tuple is used as a key to assign values to the set. Don't get confused by the values inside the tuple. So for us in this question, these values have no relevance. It's just a key for inserting values in the set. So this is the value inserted at once. This is the second value. This is the third value. They have taken one variable, sum equals to 0. For k in number games, sum plus equals to number games k. Let's see what will happen in this for loop. Initially, sum is 0 when k is 0. So what is number games 0? This means at index 0. We know that set returns value differently every time. So let's assume it's from top to bottom. It's 8. So sum becomes 0 plus 8, which is 8. Next time, sum is having value of 8. It will add on 10. It will give us 18. And then 18 plus 12 will give us 30. Once we come out of for loop, sum is having value as 30. Next is a print statement. What it is doing, it is having length of number games and adding sum to it. And what is the length of number games? It is 3. So it is printing 3 plus 30, which will give us 33. Here it is. Okay. Moving to the 5th question. The following output is displayed by a print function. Select all of the function calls that result in this output. We can see that 3 words are displayed. These are the car names: BMW, Ferrari, and Mercedes. All these are displayed in the next line. Now let's look at the options given to us. So first is print with triple quotes and /n, both of the things. So what does this triple quote does? Triple quotes enable us to have multi-line enabled in one print statement. If I want to print certain things in different lines without using escape character, without using different print statements, with just one print statement, if I use triple quotes, I can type the things in different lines and they will be printed as it is. However, you can see that they have also used /n here. So what it will do BMW. Then since it is triple quotes, it will take you to the next line. When it comes to next line, it again saw that there is a /n. Then it will skip this line and here it will print Ferrari. Again, one line is missed because of triple quotes. Another line is missed because of /n. So now it will print Mercedes. So this is not what we want. We just want in one after another line, continuous in different lines. So this is not the right thing. Look at the option B. It is simple BMW, Ferrari, and Mercedes. It will print like this in the same line, not the desired output. Third one, BMW, in next line, Ferrari, and then next line, Mercedes, using the single print statement and single quotes. So this will give you an error because this is not allowed. The D part, BMW, then /n, then Ferrari, /n, Mercedes. So what it will do, it will type BMW, it sees /n, goes to next line, Ferrari, then next line, Mercedes. This is what we want. So this is our desired output. Move on to the next question. What will be the output of the following Python program? Print, then we have a string formatting here. You can see that 3 curly brackets are used, this one, this, and this. And they have given 3 words, today, lovely, and day. The main thing to look here is that you can see that in the first one, there is no indexing given. However, in the last 2, indexing is given to us. In Python, there are 2 ways of doing formatting. One is automatic indexing, where we don't give any indexes. Second is manual, where we do give indexes, but we cannot mix both of them like this. This will give you an error, as this is automatic indexing and this is manual. We cannot mix. Either should be automatic or all of them should be in manual. Has it been like this, 0, then 1, then 2? Then yes, we will got our string to be printed, or empty, empty, and empty. Then it will take from left to right. This will give you an error. Question number 7. What will be the output of the following Python code? Example, hello world. Example, trying to access the 4th character and changing it to S and then printing it. Look here, example is a string. It's not a list, and strings are immutable. Immutable means if I have assigned a value to it, I cannot access its character and change it. So this will give you an error because we cannot have such thing with the strings. Question number 8. James is a Python developer who has written the below code. He desires the output to be Maria 456, but there is some error in the code. Now, students also face some issue when they see lots of code written. However, it's not that much here. Even if there are lots of lines written, you don't have to start reading from line number 1 and understand each and every line in first go. The approach is to think from compiler's perspective. Like if you have written this code in any IDE, how the compiler will execute this code. What happens is that you will have to search where we are creating any object of a class. If any object is created, so first execution will happen from that line. Look here, we are creating one object, student1 equals to student 456 Maria. Hence, it will go to the constructor of class student and will have student ID as 456, student name as Maria. It has student ID as a private variable, not the public one, which is getting set to student ID, student name, getting the value student name, which is Maria. We don't have any setter, public setter for student ID. It's just a private variable. So underscore student underscore ID will not be accessible outside the class. So this will not be executed. And once it prints student1.studentID, you will get an error because student ID is nowhere declared or there is no setter for it. Now let's look at the options. Add a method to the student class as follows. Define get student ID self, return student ID. This is again not right because we don't have a student underscore ID. It's just underscore student underscore ID, not a public variable student underscore ID. So this is not a right thing. Second one, add a method to the student class as follows. Define get student ID, return self dot underscore student underscore ID. Yes, this is the right thing to do. We will return the value of student underscore ID, which is 456. Now, since we have a getter now, we still have not used it. We still have student1.studentID, which is not declared. Let's go to option number 3. Change line 4 to print student1.get underscore student underscore ID. Yes, we are now calling this getter function, and this will give us the student ID. Student name is still the same. So this is the second change we have to make. Fourth one is not right. It is trying to access directly the student ID, but this is a private variable. It will not be accessible. Question number 9 now. What is the output of the following code snippet? Again, a code is given here where we have two functions, verify and display. We don't have to look these functions now. Let's look where it is called. It is called here, display 120 and 320. Once this function is called, it will reach here. Argument 1 will have the value of 120. arg1 has value 120. Argument 2 is having value 320. Now inside this if condition, it is calling this function verify with argument 1 and argument 2. It will reach here. Num1 will get the value as 120. Num2 will get the value as 320. And it will compare. Num1 is greater than num2. No, this is false. If num1 equals to num2, it is also false. Hence, this else will become true. It will return num2, which is 320. 320 is returned here. 320 equals to argument 1, which is 120. This condition is false. It will go to elif. Again, verify is called with 120, 320. We know that it is returning 320. Comparing it with 1, no, it is false. Hence, it will go to this else statement and it will print argument 2, which is 320. So the right answer is C, 320. Question number 10. What is the output of the below Python code? A class employee is given to us. It has a constructor, a static method, and then few instances of this class. Then we have employee.getCounter. The static method is being called -100. Now let's see one after another. First thing, employee with the name as Tom is called. It will go to the constructor. It will assign self.name equals to name. Self.name will get a value as Tom. Employee.counter, initial value of counter is 100. It will increment it by 1. So it will become 101 when the name is Tom. And self.id is also employee.counter. So id will become 101. Now second instance is being called with the name as Bob. It will again go to the constructor. It will have name now Bob. The value of counter will be incremented by 1. It will become 102. ID will also become 102. The third instance is called. Same thing will happen. Robert. And counter will become 103. ID 103. This line, print statement, employee.getCounter -100. This is a static method. It is not dependent upon any of the instances. It will directly go there. Look at the value of employee._counter. Counter is having value as 103. 103 here it will come. 103 -100 will give us 3. This one. Question number 11. What is the output of the following program? Here we are given one list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then some operations are being performed. So when a list like this is given inside quotes, if I access L0, it will give me like this 1. Now we are assigning it a value. L0 is being assigned a value 0 and L5 has also been assigned a value 0. Now instead of string we have assigned a number value and L3 is given is equals to L -2. -2 means we will start reading from the end. The last value is -1, hence L -2 will be 5. This means L3 will also become, this is inside quotes, don't forget this. L3 will also become 5 inside quotes. Now L0 and L5 are numbers without quotes, rest of them are with quotes. Hence the last one is the right option. L0 is 0, 1, 2, 3, then we have L -2 and the last one is 0. Question number 12. What is the output of the following program? One class is given to us, test, a constructor, then another function, display, object is equals to test. Then we have object.display. Do you think it will work? No, it will not. Why? Because see here in the constructor we have self, a. Whatever are the parameters in the constructor are expected to be sent when we are creating the object. So since we are not sending any value for a when we are creating any object here, it will give us an error. So what does C say? Error as one argument is required while creating the object. Yes, this is right. Question number 13. Consider the below code snippet. Identify the most efficient test data set for testing the below code using logic coverage technique. What is logic coverage technique? This means we need a data set, a minimum data set which is required to test each and every condition. We have 4 conditions here, this one, this and the else one. So we need 4 such values which will test each one of them. Look at the options. First one is 79, 87, 91 and 99. Now here you can see that 79, it will fall in the first category. It will give you grade equals to B. 87 will fall in the second one. It will give us grade A. 91 will also fall in the second condition and give us grade A. We don't need two values for testing a single condition. So this is not the right option. Looking at the second one, again 78 and 80 both will fall in the first condition. We don't need this. The third option, 74, is for the first condition. Sorry, 74 is not for the first condition. 74 will fall in the last one. 77 is for the first condition. Then we have 90, which will fall in the second condition, and 100 will fall here. Yes, we have a data set which is checking and testing all of the given statements. This is the right answer. What is the output of the following program? We have one function foo here, try, return one, finally block is there, which is returning. This is very important to understand the finally block. If there is a return statement in try block and a return statement in finally block, so the return in finally will get the precedence. It will be executed, not the one in the tries block. And hence, when we call this k equals to foo, this will be executed. Return 2. K will get a value of 2. Question number 15. What is the output of the following program? Don't get scared when you have such lines of code in the exam. Try to understand it logically. You don't have to understand each and every line at first go. As I told earlier also, look where the functions are being called or where the objects are created. Simply read it. Okay, there is a function list example. Let's not go inside it for now. We have a try block where there is a list 1, 2, then inside quotes 3 and then 5. Then we are calling this function list example, passing this list 1 and another parameter as 2. Then it will come here, input list will have list 1, index will be 2. We are trying to create another list, output list, equals to 1 multiplied with length of input list. So length of input list is 4. So what will be output list? I'm writing it short because I don't have that much of space. So it will create a list like this, 1, 1, 1, 4 times. Okay. Now what it is doing, output list index. Index is having a value of 2 is equals to input list 1. What is the value at the first index? It is 2. So what it is trying to do is 2. Then what is the value at index 2? It is 3 inside quotes. It is trying to add a number and a string. So it will not work. This is not an implicit conversion. This will not happen. It will give you an error. What kind of an error will you get? It is a type error. Type error. So inside this function, when this error is raised at this line, look at all the exceptions being handled. We have a value error, we have an index error, but there is no type error. So this error will be propagated from the place where this function is being called. And before it is being propagated, finally will be executed. So we will have this function list example has executed. This will be printed here. Then it will come back here and look for handling type error. Then it will see that yes, we have an except block for type error. It will print type error. And finally it will print main program has executed. And hence option number D. This is how errors are propagated if they are not properly handled. If they are not handled in the function, they will propagate to the calling area and look for the handler there. They want their handler there. And still if they don't find the handler, they will again go back to the calling area. And if there is no handler anywhere, it will show the error on the screen. Alright. Now let's look at the question number 16. What would be the values of output underscore Q from front to rear when the below input underscore Q is passed as input to the given function? Input underscore Q is given to us. There is a function which is taking this as input. Let me make this Q here, which is having values 3, then 7, 6, 2, 5, 6, 3, and 2. Now let's have a look at the function. They are creating one empty Q, output underscore Q. Then we have a while loop, not input underscore Q is empty. So till the moment this input Q is not empty, we will keep on executing the while loop. First thing, var equals to input underscore Q dot DQ. This will DQ the first value, which is 3. It is DQ'd and this value is assigned to the variable. It is 3. The condition is checked. If var less than equals to 5, yes, this is true. Output Q dot NQ. So this means we are filling the value in output Q. This is my output Q. I'm filling the value. What value is getting filled? Input Q dot DQ. It's again DQing the next value, which is 7. This is DQ'd 7 plus 1. This means it is populated here. Else will not be executed. Let's go back to our while loop. Next value is DQ'd, var equals to input underscore Q dot DQ. It will DQ 6. If var less than equals to 5, this is false this time because var is having a value of 6. It's not having 3 now, it is having 6. It will go to the else part. Output Q dot NQ, output Q dot DQ. This means it will DQ this value, take it out, 8 plus input Q dot DQ. What is the next value in input Q? This is 2. So 8 plus 2 is 10. So it will not have 8 here, it will have 10 here. Again, let's going back to our next iteration. Var equals to input Q dot DQ. Now it will have 5. Let's cross this out. Not 6, it's having 5 now. Condition is true. Var is less than equals to 5. Yes. Input Q dot NQ. Now next value needs to be NQ'd. Input Q dot DQ, which is 6. 6 plus 1, 7. We'll get 7 here and I'll cross this out. Next iteration. Now var will get a value of 3 instead of 5. 3 will come here. Let me strike this out. Var is less than equals to 5. Yes, this is true. So it will NQ the next value. DQing means taking 2 plus 1. This is 3. Now my input Q becomes empty. So we'll come out of the while loop and it is returning output Q, which has 3 values, 10, 7 and 3. Hence C is the right option. Moving to question number 17. Consider the below code. There is a function check record, student ID, student name, and this function is being called. Identify the statements to be replaced in line number 1 and line number 2 respectively, such that output is record matched, function executed successfully. Now look here, we have a value in student ID which is 234, a student name is John. When I come here and I call this print function check record with these values, it will come here. It will check this condition. Yes, this condition is true. Now we want 2 statements to be printed. One is record matched, second is function executed successfully. This means since this condition is true, I want something to be printed here and something to be returned from here. Therefore, at line number 1, we will have this print statement with the record matched, and line number 2, we don't need a print statement because print is already there. We just have to return our string. So let's look at the option. First, with record matched, we need a print statement, yes. And for the second one, we don't need a print statement because it is already there. Hence, second will be the right option. question number 18. What will be the output of the following Python code? A class A is given to us, a class B for which A is parent. It is inheriting from class A, and we have a main function where we are creating object of B, then we are counting and then printing something. And it is asking us for the output. Let's look line by line. First object of B is created. It will come here to the constructor. Self y equals to 0. From this constructor, it is calling constructor of the parent with value self and 3. It will come here and self.x will get a value 3. It will come back here. It will assign value self.y equals to 0 because y is equals to 0 here. Object.count, count is being called here and it is incrementing y by 1. So here self.y is equals to y plus 1, hence y will become 1. It is printing object.x, object.y. X is having a value of 3, y is having a value of 1. Hence our the correct option is B. Now let's have a look at question number 19. Which of the following is the correct expansion of list underscore 1 equals to expression I for I in list 0 if function I. This is list comprehension and they're asking us for the expanded form of this comprehension. For sure we are going to have a for loop. Also we need to initialize list underscore 1. So the possible options could be A and D. We are initializing list underscore 1, then we have a for loop for I in list underscore 0 if function I list 1 dot append I. No, we are not appending I, we are appending expression I. Let's look at option D now. List underscore 1 is this. For I in list 0 if function I list 1 dot append expression I. Yes, this is the right one. So D is the right option. Looking at the last question, what is the output of the following program? String 1 equals to hello world, print string, then we have these columns and -1. So what it will do? It will start printing from the last character which is -1 and it will print in the reverse order. D, L, R, O, W, O, L, L, E, H. This means first is the right option. Alright friends, today I have explained few sample questions from InfyTQ exam. In the next video we will come with new questions. All the best, keep preparing.